Okay, episode 2. We're gonna talk about what's happening in the first 3 to 4 months at 179. We'll talk warm ups, what they are, why we do them, where we do them, what the theme of each month is, and what it's building towards. And then we can dive into sort of events that we've got going on in the gym. I don't think there's any outside the gym. I think it's mostly just competitions that we run in house, but also some big competitions externally as well. All right, so the warm ups. The warm ups for the last year or two, we've done them as like skill based or capacity based, which means we don't just waste 10 minutes of a class just being like, going on a 200-meter run or a 400-meter run or 2 minutes on a rower, and then some generic stretching that no one really gets much out of. We are going to add a bit more to it. So every single month this year will have a different theme to it. We will stick to the theme for the month, and it will get progressively more difficult, harder to complete, higher skills as we get through, because we want to get as much out of the hour as possible. Getting as much out of the hour as possible means that the workout is good, all the stuff around the workout is good, you get time to get coached, you get the chance to scale stuff, play around with skills and stuff in a workout. And I think one of the easy wins for us is to challenge people a little bit more in the workouts. So for January, we're going to do a 6-minute EMOM every single day for a month. Minute 1, you're just going to pick a number of calories on an erg, skier, echo bike, rower. Let's say it's 10 calories, 12 calories, 14 calories, whatever you think you can hit comfortably in a minute. You'll do them. If that takes you 45 seconds, you'll rest 15 seconds. The next minute, you're doing burpees. It could be, again, 6 burpees. It could be 18 burpees, however many you can do and get a little bit of rest. But we're going to make it a little bit more difficult every week. So week 2, you'll add more calories, more burpees. Week 3, more calories, more burpees. Week 4 will be the most challenging. But you've also done calories and burpees for a long time then, so you should have more capacity there. So that's what we're going to do. We'll keep it consistent for the first week, pick your numbers, stick to them. More on the second week, more on the third week, more on the fourth week. And by the end of the week, end of the month, you'll be better on the rower or the ski erg, and you'll be better at burpees, which is always a win. And it just maximizes what we get out of the hour as well. In February, we're moving towards the open, so our skill warm-up for the February is going to be more skill-based. January is more capacity-based, row and burpees. February is going to be skill-based. First week is going to be on single unders. Double unders come up every single year in the open, so the first week is going to be just some skill-based single unders or single under crossovers. Week 2 then will progress to maybe double unders, maybe you're adding in single double under crossovers. And then after week 2, you'll be doing whatever you're struggling with. So if you really struggle with double unders, you will stay with double unders for the remaining 3 weeks. If double unders are ticked off, single unders are ticked off, on week 3 you can progress to double under crossovers, triple unders. It's 2 weeks essentially of working on a skill you haven't got. Build a little bit of capacity, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. But the main focus here is getting people to practice a skill they haven't got. And that's never ending. Double under crossovers, you can use a weighted rope. You could use a heavy rope for heavy double unders. Whatever it is that challenges you a little bit. So yeah, we're going to use the warm-up to dial in some jump rope skills. And then into March, it's just going to be a little bit of shoulder prehab stuff. So we call it ITYWs, which is basically different strengthening pieces around the shoulder. First week will be super, super simple. Second week, we might move to some maybe banded stuff on the rig. Third week, we maybe add some weight. But again, we're going to progress the shoulder strengthening, shoulder prehab. Shoulders do get used a lot in CrossFit. Anytime you're holding on to something, a rig, kettlebell, barbell, even the rowers to a certain degree, the ski ergs, you're using your shoulders, your upper body. So we're just going to take care of that around the open season, where people's generally volume goes up because they're practicing more. We're going to take care of that with some shoulder prehab stuff and rehab stuff in the warm-up for the month. So January, little recap, January, capacity-based, improving our capacity in rowing and burpees. That's never going to be a bad thing. Second month is going to be jump rope if you're American, skipping rope if you're British, single unders, crossovers, double under crossovers, working on something you haven't got. And then March is going to be all about shoulder prehab stuff. And that basically covers the first 3 months of the year. The workouts, the theme for the workout, so we program in themes. Generally, we're building towards something. Murph, for example, the theme will be generally run in pull-ups, push-ups, and squats. Doesn't mean we do them every day, but we would see them more often than we would in regular programming. So the theme for January is going to be built around a lot of benchmark workouts. Fran, Diane, Elizabeth, Kelly, old school open workouts, potentially some hero workouts, some games workouts, tests of strength, time trials on an erg. Anything that can be measured and repeated in the future that we've done in the past. We will repeat a benchmark theme later on in the year. I want to say September time we usually do it. But we are going to be doing roughly 3 benchmark workouts a week for the month of January, built around the regular programming, just to see where we are, and especially for the new people, to see where they are for the first time doing these benchmark workouts. You'll log your score and be on the whiteboard, and then you can track your progress throughout the year wherever they come up again. We will obviously sprinkle in these benchmark workouts throughout the year. They will just appear more heavily in January to get a load ticked off, so we have something to measure up against in the future. We're also going to play around with different versions of the benchmark workouts depending on where you are. So if you're brand new to CrossFit, 3 years or less, 5 years or less, regular benchmark workouts is where you're going to be. If you are maybe a little bit more competitive mindset, or you want a different type of challenge, I've been doing CrossFit for 12 years now, I think. I've done Diane 15 times, So we're going to offer in some different options. So for example, when we do Grace, 30 clean and jerks for time, 60 kilos, 40 kilos is standard for us. We might offer in an RX plus option, or a different type of Grace where we go 80 kilos and 55 kilos. We might do Diane with a heavier deadlift and strict handstand push-ups. We might offer, we've done Jackie. The standard version is a 1,000 meter row, 50 thrusters, an empty barbell, 30 pull-ups. In the past, we've offered in the games version, which is a row under a certain time cap, which we generally don't follow. 50 thrusters at 40, 30 kilos, and then 30 bar muscle ups. I think it's quite a good option to keep people that have been doing CrossFit a little bit longer engaged at this time of year. And it just allows us to challenge people in a bit of a different way. So we will be doing a lot of benchmark workouts, and we will be adding in different variations of those benchmark workouts as well, which will be super cool to see. And then we'll be on to February. The theme for February is building towards the Open. The Open is from February the 26th to March the 16th, 3 weekends. So we are going to be spending the first 3 weeks of February, a lot of open style workouts, generally these days, a little bit lower skill, somewhere around a 15-minute window, 10 to 15-minute window, and a bit more of the movements we commonly see: dumbbell snatches, burpees, double unders, muscle ups. These are all movements we'll be focusing on. We'll also be throwing in a load of old benchmark tests, a lot of old open tests from opens previously. There's some of my favorite workouts. We've had some really cool open workouts over the years. The 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, calorie row, toes to bar, wall ball, power clean, muscle up. Sorry, there was no 10. That's one of my favorite ones. So we will see more benchmark workouts from the Open just to get us ready for that thing. And then we'll be doing the Open at the end of February. Our goal is to have over 300 people in the Open. We have about 320 members now. So if you're listening to this and you're part of 179, you will be signing up for the Open. And that will be our sort of first big in-house event. It's the biggest in-house event that we host for the year. And then it sets us up for people that move to quarterfinals at a later stage. So that'll be where we are in February. Open style workouts, a lot of open style movements. We'll be doing general CrossFit, like don't panic, but we will be adding in a little bit more of that type of stuff a little bit more often, just to get ready and to change things up for the Open. March will move us towards quarterfinals. So really speaking, the Open starts in February, but it takes up 2 weekends in March. So March will be the back end of the Open, but also moving towards quarterfinals. Top 25% from each age category will move on to quarterfinals. So it'll be a large portion of the gym, but this one is just for a weekend. So our theme for that month will still be preparing for the Open as best we can. Maybe we add in some extra programming with Tom, in like maybe the competitive track comes back a little bit just to prepare people for quarterfinals, bit of an extra strength cycle, something along those lines. We'll think about that. But we'll be moving into quarterfinals then at the end of the month, which starts on, did I write this down? The 26th. So it's the 26th to the 30th for quarterfinals. Not for everybody. A lot of people's season will start and end at the Open, but I think everyone should be involved in the Open. There's no excuse not to do it. It's a good environment. It's just a celebration of fitness and working out, really. If you're a little bit more competitive mindseted, is that a word? You're going to focus on quarterfinals. I think the people that know they're going to get to the top 25%, or even semi-finals, right? Or even the games. I think the Open for you should just be a chance just to do the Open tests in that environment with everybody else. If you know you're going to be quarterfinals, I wouldn't focus on the Open that much. I would get through the Open. I would focus on just getting top 25%. And if the quarterfinal is where my season ended, I would be focusing on trying to do as best as possible in quarterfinals. If my Open season ended at semifinals, all of my energy would be moving towards trying to finish as best I can in semifinals. If you're going to end at the Open, you're not going to get 25%, then put all of your energy into the Open and try and get the best score possible. You don't get to compete all year. I think that it's a positive thing to be able to compete, and it is a competition. So figure out where you think you're going to be. Maybe you end in the Open, which most people will. Maybe you end quarterfinals, maybe you end semifinals, and move all of your chips to do the best you can at that stage. It doesn't make any sense to me that people who would get to quarterfinals burning all of their energy in the Open and then not doing quarterfinals. That would be like watching Wales play rugby in the World Cup and then they smash everyone in the group stages, but then they lose first stage of quarterfinals. That's where you want to be performing. So figure out where you are, figure out where you want to go, and focus on that area of your last ladder at the game season. I think that's the best way to look at it. And then that basically covers our first 3 months of warm-ups and the themes of the month. It's basically taken over by a lot of benchmark workouts in January, and then Open and quarterfinal prep and testing in February and March. Events outside of that, we got a couple of events coming up. In January, the first event that we will host in the gym will be the Lift-Off. The Lift-Off it's a multi-part event. It goes Friday and Monday, where you're going to have a chance to record a 1 rep max snatch and a 1 rep max clean and jerk. There's also a workout tied into it, so you have to perform well across all 3 of them. The snatches, we use like an algorithm, I guess. I forget what it's called. Sinclair, maybe it's called. And it takes into consideration your body weight and how much you're snatching and clean and jerking. So generally, if you weigh 100 kilos, you're going to out-snatch someone that weighs 60. But with this format, you can have the 60-kilo lifter beating the 100-kilo lifter because it's relative to their body weight. So we will have barbells lined up in the gym, 3 barbells, all at different starting points. If you think you're going to end your snatch for a guy at 80 kilos or less, you'll start on barbell 1. Let's call it, starts at 40 kilos. Barbell 2 might start at 60 kilos. You're the person that's going to maybe get to like maybe 100 kilos. Barbell 3 might start at 80 kilos. You would start on that bar and you would end at maybe 120. So you'll have 3 different barbells to start on, depending on where you think you're going to finish. And you'll snatch in a conga line until you're all out. We did this on 1 barbell last year, which was a mistake because it took fucking ages. I might have to bleep that out, Magda, sorry. But it was a good event. It just took a little bit too long. So this year, we're going to add in 3 barbells, and we're going to get people starting on different barbells, and they're going to lift in a conga line until there's 1 person left, and they're generally going to win the snatch or the clean and jerk. We will do the snatch and the clean and jerk on Friday back to back, and then on Monday we will have the Lift-Off workout program. The Lift-Off workout will have snatching and clean and jerking in it, and some other movements to balance that out. In the past, it's been chest to bars, double unders, burpees. I'm not going to tell you what it is, obviously, but that's going to be the first event to sign up for that's in-house in 179. We also have French Throwdown qualifications starting in January. We will have a multitude of different teams at different levels as beginner, intermediate, advanced. And we've got some people going individual as well. Again, you can go beginner, intermediate, advanced, or RX and elite, I think they call it. But that's going to be one of the big competitions that we focus on. French Throwdown is going to be the start of the year. The French Throwdown qualifiers exist between... Did I write this down?
15, 16, no.
I thought I did write it down, no? January 29th till February the 10th is when the qualifiers go live, I think. We will have, obviously, teams and registered before then, but you basically get about a week's window, 2-week window to get the qualifiers done. Depending on individual qualifier. I'm sure it's the 15th, actually. Might be to the 15th of February. With the finals being in May. So we're going to look to get as many teams and individuals as possible in the French Throwdown. The finals will be in May. When the qualifiers are going on, they'll be done at the side of the class, after the class, Saturday mornings, whatever. We'll squeeze them in somehow. But that's going to be the big competition that we focus for the start of the year. Over the 12-month period, we'll be focusing on different competitions, big ones, to try and get basically try and get a load of numbers there. French Throwdown is going to be the last one. Southwest Regionals have been thrown about. Marbella, end of the year, has been thrown about. But we'll target 4 or 5 over the year and try and have a big attendance at these events, which is quite a cool way to run the competitive season, if you like. And you haven't got to be competitive if you just want to get a fun team together, and just, drink some beers and just hang out. That's fine. If you take it a bit more seriously, then get more of a competitive team and do that. But we will cover any qualifier registration fees. That's fine, and we'll supply competition tops as well for people that go to these big competitions, so it will help reduce the cost for you guys. We can't pay for it all, obviously, because we need to pay for other stuff, but we'll always help out if we can. So that covers January's Liftoff French Throwdown. Outside of that, the Open and the quarterfinals is going to take up the first couple of months. So you're looking at French Throwdown qualification, you're looking at the Open, and you're looking at quarterfinals for if you get that far. We'll put a team into the Open. We've never made it to semi-finals. I think we'd be there or thereabouts this year with 4 people that I've got in mind. But again, we can have multiple teams all competing and see where we can go in the Open if that's what they want to do. But yeah, I think that's it. We'll talk about April, May, June, July a little bit later on. It's going to follow a similar format. The warm-up will be designed to maybe add capacity or skill or whatever it may be. Each month we'll have a theme. We got Murph coming up in the not too distant future. We got Geralt coming up in the not too distant future. Mannion will make another appearance. We did a marathon row on New Year's Eve. That will probably stay now. Elle organised that. I've been speaking to Bex about maybe starting some sort of 179 run club that maybe starts from OTB, go on some run routes around Forest Park Industrial Estate. I don't know. Doesn't sound too sexy, but I think having some sort of running program, sort of running class, as summer comes up, could be pretty good. So yeah, I think that covers the first 3 months of everything going on at 179. We will open up registration for the Liftoff by Monday. If you have any questions or you want to ask questions, you can put it in the comments on YouTube. We're going to try and get this on Spotify, right? Is that right? So you can listen to it when you're driving a little bit easier on Spotify, maybe Apple. You can ask questions in the group for the episode 3, what you want to hear about. Like, it could be you want us to talk about why we coach the way we do. Maybe you want to go into programming a little bit more. You want to understand why the classes run the way they do. Anything you can think of that you want to know about, just put it in the comments and we can answer questions next time. Yeah, I think that's it.